Pieces in progress. It's ancestral.
Spider.
Oh yeah. There we go. All right. So what do we want to talk about today?
I was thinking about something that's kind of come up lately in other topics, and it's emotional exhaustion. Like when you're just like tired,
Mm-hmm.
like the type of tired that like they need a nap, I'm fix it. You go to bed tired, wake up tired, you're carrying it all the time tired. That kind of tired.
I can feel the tiredness from you.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot all the time. Fucking teenagers suck. Kids suck. Relationships suck. I mean, relationships don't really suck, right? It's just
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you feel like you're doing all the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
That can suck.
What do you mean by heavy lifting?
I mean, when you feel like you're doing everything, you're doing the cooking, the cleaning, the paying the bills, the laundry, the sweeping, the organizing, the this, the that, and then you have a partner who also feels like they're doing all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like maybe you're not communicating, things aren't getting reciprocated, you're taking things, you're personalizing them, you're internalizing them, your perception might be a little off. And instead of like trying to clear the air, it's just like building this tension.
Mm-hmm.
And so that can seem like a lot, when in reality, you probably just need a reset.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. And then we were talking about how does this connect in recovery?
Oh my God. A million different fucking ways.
Yeah.
A million different fucking ways.
You remember when you were first getting sober? How much? This last time. You
Ah.
remember, like, isn't it crazy when you first get sober, everything's just hard?
I think the last time I got sober, I was so fucking mad.
Yeah.
And that's like my default setting when I'm using is mad, right? Angry. So this last time when I got sober, I just remember I was really angry, not really at anybody else, more so myself. I was so fucking resentful at myself.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the first times I really tried to get clean, like really, really tried to get clean, put that fucking effort forward. This would sound so dumb. I remember I was in rehab and like this commercial came on. It was like the Sherman Bears.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
And I was like, and I get teary eyed even thinking about it. And people are like, why would you cry at a toilet paper commercial? And I was like, I think it was really what it represented, which was everything that I lost.
Mm-hmm.
The kids, the family, the this, the that. Like my kids weren't talking to me. Half my family had restraining orders against me. I wasn't allowed at my grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
I was always allowed at my grandma's house, Kelly. It was just one of those things that like the emotional rawness of life hit me, and I no longer had that intoxicant lubricant
Mm-hmm.
to numb me or medicate me, and I was left with that emotional hangover. It fucking hit me like a ton of bricks.
And that's generally what always happens when people get sober. When I first got sober, I had like 60 days or something, and I was in the army. You've heard this story before. I was in the army, and I was watching this dog commercial thing, right? And I remember the dogs came on and the people came on, and this is in Korea. We had something called Armed Forces Network, which is AFN. So basically, it's like an OK channel TV thing. And so what happened was the dogs came on, the people came on. They're like, "Man, if you don't donate today, these dogs are gonna die." And I started just fucking crying, just mentally just crying. I gotta tell you the truth. Not a huge dog person in the first place. I'm not a huge dog person. Even back then, I wasn't. I'm more of a dog person now, but then definitely wasn't. And I couldn't have one either way. But I was sitting there just crying. And I'm saying right now, I couldn't even process the reason why I was crying. But I know that I was really, really tired. And it's that emotional tiredness, right? Like just all the emotions and feelings in the past 60 days just hit me all at once.
Yeah.
Like a wall just hitting me. And I'm like, damn. And I'm crying at this dog commercial thing. And they did not get any money from me, but I did think about it a lot.
Those dogs die, Kelly.
Yeah, apparently that's what was said. They're dying, And I was like, dang. But I remember when I was first getting sober, that emotionally tired. I was just emotionally tired at that point. I was so exhausted from talking about my feelings, about my family, this, that, and just you just overcome with it.
Right. And I was such a default like mad. How's that make you feel? Fucking mad.
Hmm.
I didn't know any other feeling. And I think anger was so easy for me because it was the one thing that I'd always allowed myself to feel.
Hmm.
And anger is not even a primary fucking emotion.
That's right. It's secondary emotion.
So it was like, okay, but what's that? I don't fucking know. You know,
Air.
whereas now I'm like disappointment, embarrassment,
Mm.
shame, guilt, grief. You know, today I'm a lot more quicker to identify where that anger comes from. Whereas like umpteen fucking years ago, I was like, oh,
Yeah, I would say I'm the same way. Anytime I ever got angry, someone would be like, I mean, Kelly, what are you really feeling? And I was like, fucking pissed. Can that be an emotion for you? Damn. And it's just like nowadays, now I get angry, I calm down, and I'm like, okay. Okay. I remember this one time my son threw a sword at the back
oh, I
window.
remember that.
Yeah, at the back window. And at first I was super pissed. And I saw the video and I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, this is gonna be thousands of dollars. And at first I was super angry. Then I showed up to the house and he was all crying and all emotional and stuff. And I was just like, it's okay, bud. And he was like, yeah. I was like, let's go to Safeway. He was like, what are we going to Safeway for? I was like, I'm going to get us some ice cream. And I got us some ice cream. And we came back. Then I told him he was going to apologize to his mother. And he was like, why I got to apologize to mom? I was like, could you scare her? It's not okay to be throwing swords and stuff and then breaking it and everything like that. And it's just a lot more calmer effect. And you know, some people read in that situation might be like, "Where's the discipline? Where's the mate? Look, my son's not going around just breaking windows all."
But what I really love about that, and what a lot of people don't realize, is in that moment you're teaching emotional regulation.
Yeah.
You're teaching proportion. Like, is it proportionate to be this angry? Like he broke a door, like I'm yelling, screaming, "Ah!" It's a door. And you
Yeah.
got it fixed relatively quickly.
Hmm.
You know, and it just yeah, it cost some money and it was inconvenient, but the reality is like no one was significantly hurt. It was fixed.
And he probably felt bad about it.
Oh yeah, I did.
And you know, something too is that
And you gotta learn an important lesson.
and also too, he didn't have to feel shame
Mm-hmm.
about it, right? And so a lot of us get parented in a way where we get shamed for doing something wrong, and then it's like, okay, well, if I get shamed for this, why am I going to tell anybody I've ever done anything wrong?
Right.
Why don't I just continue just
I'm
doing
just
the wrong?
gonna lie,
Yeah,
manipulate, cheat, do all the things.
and then go to use substances to make myself feel better for doing all those things.
Yes.
Exactly, and that's how substance use starts.
Right, but what else you did there, and it's really significant, is you did something that I know I didn't get a lot of when I was a kid, and you might not have either, is you changed that outcome versus how we were raised to how these kids are getting raised, right?
Hmm.
You taught him that you can make really big mistakes and he can still trust you to hold frame and show up as a safe person.
Hmm. And that was my whole goal because at first I was super pissed. I calmed down, and then I just went over there and I just like I talked to him. And it's right. He did. He needs to understand he can make a mistake, and it's not gonna be the worst thing in the world. And Dad's gonna be here. I'm gonna love you. You know, something I used to tell my son a lot, and I've changed my whole thinking about this. I used to be like, oh, I told him when he turned 19 because he'll be 19 in high school. I was like, you gotta go. You gotta get your own place. And I get it. My dad was the same way. My dad was like, 18, you gotta go, or whenever you're done with high school, you gotta go. And I get that mentality. I get the thinking because you want people to survive on their own. You want them to make it. But you know something too? I was watching on TikTok not too long ago. Is I also want my son to come the fuck back.
Mhm.
That's just the truth. I want him to come back and know that he's safe here and that he has a home and that he'll always be loved and cared for no matter what.
You know, it's really funny you say that because America is one of those cultures. As soon as you turn 18,
Yeah.
you go. But if you look,
Yeah, yeah. Other places they do not. I was in Korea for 2 years, and I remember dating a lady before, and she lived with 3 generations of family. It was weird seeing great grandpa at the dinner table for the first time. Like I was like, damn, it was
yeah.
crazy. And so, and you don't really see that a
But
lot of
I
families.
remember, you know, with my second daughter, I told her like you don't have to move out when you turn 18. She's like, I can't wait to move out. I'm gonna move out when I'm like this old. And I sat down and I'm like, okay, it's gonna cost you this much, you know. If you're smart, you'll stay here until you fucking buy a house, you know, save your money, do this, do that, da 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 da. And she fucking did. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, she had a little help, not from me, but she had a little help, you know, along the way to figure it out. But she's 21. She owns her own house. My 27-year-old just sold her first house. You know, she didn't live with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Let me ask you a question though. 'Cause I know a little bit of your history. So with the house buying thing, that's like an important thing,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because
I haven't even bought a house.
yeah, I mean, but it's important thing. Your kids have owned homes now,
Hmm.
and like the family history for you, that's not what your family has done, right? There was one owned family house.
So my grandmother, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
My uncles have all owned their own
Mm-hmm.
homes. I believe my aunt owns her own home. And my mom, when I was younger, we did have a house that she bought. But we lost it relatively quickly,
Mm-hmm.
probably like a year in. And I moved a lot growing up.
And then
So
your siblings, do they have homes?
no,
Yeah.
no, they never. I think that might be a lie. I think my one sister, she was with someone and they had a home and it burnt down. Anyway, but no. So like for me and my kids, like I grew up where change was like the one consistent thing that was reliable. It was dependable. I went to a different school every single year, I think from like fifth grade on. And I went to like 3 different elementary schools too. So change was like consistent. We were always moving, always doing things. Um, Even now, like where I live now, this is the longest I ever in my life have lived anywhere.
How long you live here now?
I think 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
consistently. Like in a row. Never moved out once.
But you had intentions when you moved here because like you wanted to not move again.
Yeah, I was like, this is my forever home.
Yeah, you're like, I don't care how much it costs. I don't care about
Mhm.
this. I don't care about nothing. I need somewhere where I know someone cannot like do anything to me.
Right.
And you secured a place where that is the
Because that's
situation.
happened the last couple
Yes.
places I've lived.
Yeah, yeah. The people just buy houses out from underneath
It's
you.
fucking weird. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
because my one house, my Lawrence Street house, I lived there for what, like 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So came about the house.
Right. Didn't even know they were selling it. And
Yep.
they were like, they showed up and they're like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I live here. And they're like, we didn't know there were tenants. And I luckily had my lease, showed them, and they were like, they're like, well, so long as like you're, you know, not a convicted felon. I was like, I'm a convicted felon. They're like, well, so long as it's not for drugs. I was like, it's for drugs. Yeah. And I remember like, God, they were such nice people. And I just remember telling them, I'm like, listen, my AA home group's right around the corner. There's another meeting. Like, I'm super, like, please don't kick me out. Like, please don't kick me out. And I lived there for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. And I think they might have said you were the best tenant they've ever had.
Yeah. And they had rental properties.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. The guy, the landlord guy would call my husband and be like, hey, can you come do this? Can you come do that? And so even after we moved out, my husband worked on that house many times.
Yeah. I remember you paying in advance.
Mhm.
Yeah, and making sure that there was nothing wrong with the bills
Yeah.
there. And then you were like, I want like a crew of dogs here. He was like, yeah, you gotta go.
No dogs. No
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah, he's like, nah, not happening,
And
man.
I loved it. He was like, what happens if the dog gets sick?
Yeah.
I was like, dog will have food. But I think it's great that my kids have surpassed me. I think that that's a beautiful thing. And there are people who like compete with their children, and I think that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Um, that's emotionally exhausting. Like, why are you competing? Like, I thought the whole purpose of having children was evolving life. Like, I want my kids to do better than I did, and they're doing better. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure we've had some setbacks, some moments that aren't their finest, but just like mine to judge.
Yeah. Well, and also too, thinking about what age they're at and what they're doing in life, and the thing about what you were doing in your life. Right.
That's nightmare.
Yeah.
For all of them.
Yeah, and which is awesome.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I mean, my kids, I once heard one of my family members said, if you have a kid at school, kid or whatever, and they come up and you were to see your kid in school at the same age, would you think they're rich?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I would think my kid's a billionaire.
If I met fucking Haley.
Yeah. And you're her age. What would you think she's rich?
I think she's fucking spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I mostly would be mad because, like, dude, the things I was doing at 15
Mm-hmm.
compared to where she is at 15, yeah, I would not fucking like her.
Mm.
I would like go out of my way to hate her. Because honestly, I would be jealous.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be so fucking fiercely jealous of her. And I wouldn't be able to know how to process that at 15. So I'd just be like, I hate her. She's a stuck up little fucking spoiled rich bitch.
Mm-hmm. I feel like my son, I would get along with him just fine, but I would think he's super rich. I'd be like, wait, you have this, this, and this, and even if you like gauged up the years, right? So let's put me back down to age 9 today, and I'm with my son, and we have all the same technology and everything. There's no way in a million years I would have the same shit that he has today. There's not. And I think that's an amazing thing. That's what I want for my kid. I don't want my kid to have what I had.
Right.
I had crap. And people are like, well, I mean, was it really that bad? Well, look, yeah, I had a house, I had food, sure. The basics were secured. But emotional regulation, also too, the reason why I'm able to do like the whole window thing and the emotional regulation is because we have information at our fingertips.
Yeah.
To be able to like make good decisions and stuff. Our parents were working on like, well, my parent did this and my friend's dad did this. So let me just do it. And I heard it this one time from this one guy. And I got this pamphlet from this hospital that was pretty shitty. Like, that's kind of like what they were working off of.
Right. I think if I would have met you at 15, when I was 15, I wouldn't have liked you either. I would have thought you were rich.
Oh yeah, yeah. Comparison. I think so. Yeah. I mean, you remember the show Roseanne?
Yeah.
I love that show. But when I watch the show Roseanne, all I'm thinking is like, that's my life. Like I thought that's how my life was growing up. It was like 50, 60% true. Some of the stuff, like I remember my parents talking about taking the water bill, taking the electricity bill, and used to send it in the mail. They would send it to the wrong one on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them talking about that kind of stuff. And I was like, hey,
Yeah. I didn't, I just would come on there, no power.
yeah.
Oh shit, I'll pay that when I get paid, when I have the opportunity.
I remember my dad always trying to do rich little quick schemes to try to save money. Like one time he switched our landline phone to the cell phone. Back when cell phones would charge you about a minute and charge you text messages, but he didn't know it was me and my sister were just calling out people from different states. And the phone bill was like $300. $300 back in the 90s.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That was a lot. He was pissed. Yeah, he got rid of the whole cell phone thing. That was a horrible idea.
I bet.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. Oh, and after like 7,
I hated minutes.
yeah, then after 7, you could talk for free. Yeah, I'm glad our kids have so much better.
Yeah. I had this really interesting thing happen the other day, and someone asked me, how did you do that? And he was doing something, being 15 is what she was doing, just to be clear. And she said something, and I was like, eat it inside. I was like, "Mm, mm." And I was like, I bum rushed her, I grabbed her, and just fucking kiss her. And she's like, and I kiss her, and I kiss her, kiss her. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get fucking off of me, until she was like giggling and laughing. And so I was like, how do you do that? How do you go from being mad to like kissing her? I'm like, well, I don't want to hit her. And the energy needs to go somewhere.
When I used to get woken up in the morning, my dad used to come in and he'd wake us up, and I'd be like, I'm awake. That whole,
Oh, yeah. I know Haley does that.
yeah. So my dad, but see, my dad would do this thing where he'd go 2 feet. And it meant 2 feet on the ground. You're not awake unless you have 2 feet on the ground.
Ooh.
We literally do this funny thing where we put our feet over the bed, just touch our toes to the ground. Like we got 2 feet. No, 2 feet means fully standing up and awake and looking at me. And like my son, when I go wake him up, I like this morning, I woke him up and I was like, hey, bud, wake up. The guy he's sitting next to his mom. I was like, hey, bud, wake up. He's like, what's going on? I was like, did you hear what happened? He's like, what happened? And I was like, by the power of Grayskull. And he was like, I have the power. It's from He-Man, from the movie. Me and him watched it the other weekend. And so and I started laughing. He was like, okay, bye, Dad. I love you. And it's like the ways I used to wake up when I was a kid was like, and it was like crisis. It was like, we had to wake up and we had to be in a hurry and we couldn't be late. And like, what happens if we were late? It was always like a big thing. My son, I wake him up, like, I rarely wake him up and be like, gotta go. I usually just do that to joke with him.
I'm trying to think. The kids are pretty self-sufficient when it comes to waking up, which is what I was left with as well.
Mhm.
Like, so we still take Herman's phone at night.
Yeah.
And so what'll happen is Troy will slide his phone in the room when he's leaving for work, and the alarms are set, and then he just gets up and gets himself ready.
And Jackson gets himself up and ready too. I just go wake him up because, well, I want to see him before I go to work.
Right. That's understandable.
Yeah. Sometimes he wakes up, sometimes he doesn't. It just all depends. So,
With Haley, she's like, she's virtual school. So she like does it at her leisure, gets up at her leisure. When school is in, I want to be clear, like she's not up till 3 in the morning doing whatever the fuck she wants and sleeping till 2 in the afternoon. Like we have that conversation. I'm not doing that.
mhm.
But, she get up, do her schoolwork, whatever, and I wait because she's 15. Girl. I wait for her to come out of the room before I greet.
Mhm.
Because I'm not going to daddy. She's got like double barrel loaded, ready. That emotional chaos, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'll
You
let you
know,
come to me.
emotional exhaustion for kids. I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough.
It doesn't. And so I want to say this. So part of the reason why I grab Haley and I hug her and I kiss her is we've actually had these conversations. She'll probably hate that I share this.
Mhm.
We've had these conversations where she will be raging mad. And she's we call them hailstorms. Like
Mhm.
this is a level 5. This is a level, because she's a wild.
Mhm.
But a couple years ago, since we've lived here, she popped off with something smart one day. I don't remember what it was. It's just like, everything like maybe I just want to have. I said, is how I act like that? I would hug you when you act like that. And as crazy as it was, it's led to other conversations where sometimes she'll be raging mad and not wanting to talk to me, tell me to fuck off, or that she hates me. And then she'll like do this thing where she like reaches her hand out for one thing. So
Mhm.
and she just wants a hug. And sometimes I'll sit on her bed and she'll just kind of like push herself on me. And kids don't know how to regulate, and I haven't always been the best at regulating. So I'm the example. Right. And if I haven't been consistent in how I show up emotionally, how can they know how to be consistent to show up? Plus, they've got hormones and all this other fucking crazy shit. Life at 15 and 13. How do they know?
Mhm.
How do they know? Right. And so I just like, as much as it sucks sometimes, I let her go.
Well, sometimes I think as parents, a lot of parents, especially back when we were growing up and stuff, was like, "What do you mean you have it so hard?" And now I think as parents, we're like, this isn't a contest about who had a harder life.
Right.
It's not what we're doing here. Like that doesn't make any sense. Plus, there is no contest. My life was harder.
Haley loves to say that to me. She's like, well, at least I'm not doing the shit you did at 15. I said, you better fucking help me.
You're right.
Like
Good on you.
she just wrapped up her freshman year and
Hmm.
she ended with 4 A's and a B and 2 passing
Hmm.
because they were pass fail classes.
That's
Shut the
great.
fuck up.
That's so good.
And her dad's like, he owes her money. She's like, he owes me $50. I'm like, little do you know, you're getting a fucking crisp $100 fucking bill.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. I want to encourage.
Yeah. And some people, there's been big research about this, about do you give money through grades?
Yeah, I do. Why not?
And, well, some people are like, shouldn't they just know they should just earn it because they should
Don't.
earn it?
But when you go to work and you get fucking 3s and 4s on your performance review, do you get more money for that?
So, I mean, some people make the argument that that's a service that you're doing,
Right.
and
What do
that's
you think
why.
school is for? It's to condition them for fucking jobs.
Well, and so and I would say that depending on the school, some schools condition people for factory jobs, and some schools condition people for CEO jobs.
And this is why I don't believe in fucking homework.
Yeah, yeah,
That's another conversation altogether.
it is. No, and just so you
That's
know,
about boundaries.
just so everybody know that, like, I am for money for grades.
Yeah.
I think money for grades makes sense.
Why not? If you find something that motivates someone, why
Yeah,
not use it?
yeah.
Why not use it?
Contingency management is a real thing.
She asked me something about, she wants to get her eyebrow pierced. I don't want her to get her fucking eyebrow pierced. But I'm like, you're a straight A fucking student. just about.
Yeah.
You're a straight A fucking student. It's like, yeah, you're sassy. But you're also sassy because you're fucking safe.
Hmm.
Fuck it, did you fucking hand out this?
Yeah. I remember when I wanted to get pierced ears when I was a kid. And my dad told me something like, only gay sailors get that or some shit like that. And he said no. And I was like, I think I was like 10 or something at the time. Now I've gauged ears, so.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that like stuff like that, like saying no to it, what does it really do?
It Well, one, there's a lot of stuff. That being said, there's a lot of stuff that he said without saying it.
Oh yeah.
For one. For two, it creates that it can create a complex.
Hmm.
And three, like my mom used to tell me, no, you can't dye your hair, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. I fucking did it.
Yeah. You'll just figure out a way.
I rebelled.
Yeah. And some people are like, yeah,
You want to buy me hair dye? I'll steal it.
yeah, or
I'll
use
wait
Kool-Aid packets.
Dude, hydrogen peroxide
Yeah.
in a water bottle? Oh my God.
And look, I'm not sitting there saying that you say yes to everything that your kid wants to do in life.
No, but there's certain stuff like let them be them. Like let them have autonomy. Let them figure out who the fuck they are. I'd rather her pierce her fucking face and do all the shit she wants as a fucking kid. You know, I've had so many facial piercings. I've had my hair almost every fucking color under the fucking sun. I've got fucking tattoos. I've got this. I've got that. Like,
And luckily enough, we live in a day and age where it's not as bad. I remember working at McDonald's and I was like 14 years old. And there was some guy who had like a quarter sleeve tattoo, like barely like the shirt, right? And the manager's like, yeah, I would hire him, but he's got tattoos.
I remember it was 10,
Jesus.
what, 10 years ago, little more than 10 years ago, right? I remember I got a neck tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked at that one place. And I went into work and I had long hair too. And as soon as my supervisor saw it, she says, you need to cover that.
Yeah.
I said, what? She said, you cannot have visible tattoos.
Yeah. And we're in the field, right? We're in the field of addiction. And
I said, you realize I work with drug addicts. Like, if anything, this just makes me more
yeah, conversational, like having a conversation. Yeah. I know.
And I was like, and it was like the middle of summer. I had to wear a fucking turtleneck to fucking work. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna wear my hair down all the time. Like, and I had to like, I remember I would like straighten my hair to like do certain things so that it would be covered. And I was like, had to wear fucking makeup after, like.
I remember our field 10 years ago, they were going through like 10, 15 years ago, was going through this transition where they thought people had to be looking really professional to be accepted by the other professions.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, no, for real. And I remember I worked at a place.
At that place?
Yeah. And I got hired and I had regular hair. And then I dyed it. Yeah, bluish, purplish. And it came in. The first thing my boss said, great boss. I have nothing wrong to say about the lady. Was fan freaking tastic. She was following what policy and procedures was for that place. But she was just like, yeah, I'll sew your hair. And I said, I already know. I said, she's like, what? And I was like, I'll dye it back to my natural haircut. She's like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I said, hey, it's going to take me like a week or two. She goes, take your time. It's not a huge deal. It's just, it is what the policy is. This was that time frame. And now there's like rarely a place I hear where anybody gives a crap about your tattoos, your piercings, your hair, as long as like you can make it look semi-professional, and as long as the tattoos are not against anything or any person. Right. Yeah, and that's just nowadays though. Now that's recent in the past 4 years.
And there's schools that have policies against kids dyeing their hair, and I'm like, wow.
Oh yeah, I know. I remember my son telling me that.
Haley has purple hair, and she's going to her friend's house tonight, and they're gonna dye each other's hair. And I remember for a long time, I was very like, I would let my kids dye their hair. We'd do fun colors, like at the tips, this, that, maybe a streak here or there. But other than that, like Haley's had beautiful, like natural blonde fucking hair.
Yeah, she has.
And it's long. It's so fucking pretty. And I remember she's like, can I dye my hair? Can I dye my hair? And I'm like, no. I finally made her a deal. She wanted to do bright highlights and dark highlights. Avril Lavigne, early 2000. And I was like, fine, I'll take you to the salon and I'll pay to have it done. And I did. It was fun. And it was cute. It was pretty. And then she's like, I want a Diet Purple. And I was like, no. Like, and then finally she's like, well, can my sister dye my hair purple? And I was like, yeah. And that was it. Why am I fighting you? It's your fucking hair.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When kids feel safe, when they have that expression of self, they also feel safe about expressing their emotions. And people might think that that's two different things. No, it's not. It's about you allowing them the autonomy to be their own person and make their own decisions. And then that is something else that they decide whether or not you are worthy of trust. If I can trust you, if I can bring you this. My kids, like, I'm not gonna say all the shit that my kids have told me and all the things that they have done, but I know for a fact, especially my younger kids, when they're in a fucking pinch, they'll come to me over their fucking dad, over their fucking grandmas, over their birth moms sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because I won't tell them. It's not because I'll hold a secret. It's because I will help them figure out how to fucking process it and how to bring it to their parents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my daughter Jada, she's real big. Like, she comes to me all the time. She's like, this happened, this is happening, this is what I'm feeling, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm going through. Can you help me figure it out to say to my dad? Gotcha. Recently there was this whole she's turning 16.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing a photo shoot for her birthday.
Okay.
Okay. And she sent me some dresses that she wants to wear for her birthday.
Like all down to the ankles, all down to the arms. Everything's covered. Maybe a little thing goes over the head, so it looks kind of cool. No, a little bit different from that.
Oh, a lot different.
Every dad hearing this right now, they're like,
right, but they're cute. They are cute. Not like on my 16-year-old daughter cute, but they're cute, right? And so I was looking at them, and Troy's mom called him. So you see these dresses that she wants to wear? And they're having this whole conversation. And I'm like, it's no worse than what she wore last year.
yeah.
If she wore a short little, and I'm talking like where my shorts are, maybe a little higher,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it had the back cut out. It was very fucking cute. And it had shorts on underneath it. And it's like, first of all, it's cute. Let's talk about what's really going on. And that's a whole nother conversation. I don't want to get too far into it. But when we're looking at that, we're saying that's too grown. Why are you sexualizing a child?
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking photo shoot in a controlled environment. These are photos for her 16th birthday.
And she wants to feel beautiful.
We're commemorating a moment.
And she wants to feel beautiful. You know? Why don't we help support her feel beautiful?
And I told her, I like these dresses. Your dad likes these ones, which were the longer option. And I remember I sent her a dress and she's like, oh, it's an AI dress. And I was like, God damn, you know? But I'm like, okay, let's figure it out. Let's find
it's an AI dress.
It's a dress that, you know, AI put together a little ad for the dress, but it's not a real dress.
That's super. That would be so pissed.
It's like, think about it like this. Like, you take an image and you run it through AI. Make me look skinnier, make me look brighter, make me look more pretty, less fat. Like,
mm-hmm.
And there you go. That's
oh man, it's got to be sucking me on dating apps right now. I didn't think about that. Like,
so, and I just remember, like, Troy's having this conversation with his mom, and I legitimately said, they're no worse than what you wore last year.
Yeah.
I don't strive to be the better parent.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be the parent that my kids can come to about fucking anything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that is part of the thing that helps me sleep better at night and not be so fucking exhausted, because I know that I'm parenting from a place of compassion and understanding that I didn't get, and I'm having something that I didn't grow up watching, which was stability, consistency, emotional regulation, recovery. And don't get me wrong, like my mom's been sober since I was little,
mm-hmm.
but not always in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have that and to be able to demonstrate that to my kids, that's when I talk about, like, I carry a lot of it and it's emotionally exhausting. That's it. That's the bulk of where I am. I'm always trying to be like, and it's not that my partner is falling short. It's not like he's not pulling his fair weight. It's that there's so much work I'm doing and yet still so much work to be done that it just gets you to this place where it's like,
it's kind of like after doing a therapy session. I'm talking about not being, a lot of people don't hear it enough, but some people want to know what's it like for a therapist right after a therapy appointment.
Bro.
And I'm like, I don't know. You're talking about an effective therapist or are you talking about the notebook therapist? And you guys don't know what a notebook therapist is. Well, if your therapist has a notebook and they stare at you and they go, oh,
Kelly,
well,
we're
but
really going to try to talk
look,
shit about the
look,
notebook therapist?
look, as long as you're actually interacting with somebody.
Right.
But there are therapists out there that will hold a notebook, have a pen, and they'll sit there and say, yeah, tell me more. And they will know 7 phrases. No wrong. I'm not against having 7 phrases, utilizing them in a correct way and getting therapy in an effective way. What I'm against is you phoning in therapy. And people will think they're getting help and they're getting phoned in therapy.
Yeah.
Like they'll get and I've had it. I've had phone in therapy. I've had a phone in therapist. I'm like, yeah, I just don't know what to do about that. And they're like, man, that sounds like a struggle right now. Can you tell me more about that? And I'm like sitting here thinking, man, I'm getting all
I
this
did
help.
just tell you all about that.
Yeah, and I'm not even realizing it though. I'm like, man, they're just like they're really awesome and insightful, and they're just really cool. And it's because they're already like with this therapist, so they're a therapist. So I'm down here, you're up here,
Right.
and there's no equalization, and I don't know how to do that. And so, like, if people really want to know what a therapist is all about, and therapy is all like, ask your therapist how they feel after a session. They should say, fucking feeling tired. I feel tired after a session 8 times out of 10. If I don't feel, and it's most likely because I'm doing back-to-back sessions sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's how I like to do it.
Yeah, me too. Because if I get back-to-back, some people are like, well, isn't that, no, because then I can stay engaged in that mode.
Right.
Because therapy is a mode. You're
Well,
in
and
a
my
car.
thing is like if I'm doing like 4 or 5 back-to-back sessions,
Yeah.
right? I get maybe a 5-10 minute break in between.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm starting at 10 and I have an 11 o'clock, I'm going to end that between 10:50, 10:55 because I got to pee and get something to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm taking notes because I know I'm going to do this all day. That's why I'm a notebook there.
Yeah.
Plus, like as soon as I sit down to write, I have that note to look at. Oh yeah, this is what we talked about. And then we went off this. And I'm just literally shorthanding stuff. And then I have enough time to literally decompress, pee, get something to drink, and jump right back into a session. Not scroll on TikTok, do Facebook, whatever other.
I can't do it. No, I can't do that between the sessions.
I can't either.
I have to stay in the mode.
Right. Same.
I got to stay in therapy mode.
Right. And then at the end of the day, I have to chart it all.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back around and decompress. And I'll stand here because this is also my office.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'll stand here. If I do 4 back-to-back sessions, I'll chart for 30, 45 minutes. And then I'll stay in here for another 20, 30 minutes to decompress and de-stress because I'm not going to carry that chaos back into my house.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I get a little visitor here and there, and I'll be like, now it's time to come back.
It's funny you bring up the going pee part. What I was thinking about was Dr. Barb, and going community college.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember in her class, but I remember my first day with her, and she was like, yeah, and if, so you need to be here at this time, you need it, this is when class ends, all this stuff. She's very strict, right? Very, very strict. And then she was like, oh, I don't allow potty breaks here. Use the bathroom before you come in. And I was like, I remember asking her like 3rd day, I was like, so Dr. Barb, why don't you let people go to the bathroom? Like, what's going on? She was all like, so this is just a 45-minute class. And I was like, 45, 50 minutes, whatever. Might have been like an hour, but whatever. And she was like, so what happens when you're doing a therapy session? What happens when you're in an intake and you have to use the bathroom? Are you just going to just stop what you're doing and go to the bathroom? Or should you do all that stuff before you get into that appointment?
I was literally in supervision today, and so it's more caffeine.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm having my breakfast because we're meeting also 4 hours earlier than originally scheduled because she had a meeting come up with one of her people, and she's like, "Can I bump this?" Yes. I'll be having my breakfast. Cool. Midway through my breakfast, I'm like, "I'll have a little bathroom."
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, And like last 5-10 minutes, I'm like, okay, let's wrap it up a little early because I don't know. Yeah, but this is like my colleague, my coworker.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I don't have enough time to go to the bathroom between sessions, and I'm like, make time.
Yeah, no,
don't give yourself a fucking UTI because message your client, log on early, and leave a little message. Hey, just running a couple minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running to a body break because you need to either do it at the beginning. Because how much therapeutic value you're going to have if you're sitting there thinking like, oh my God, my bladder is about to burst, or oh my God, I'm about to shit my pants.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not checked in.
Yeah, and a lot of therapists don't get checked in when they go to therapy. They're all like, oh, "Okay, I'm emotionally present for this client right now, and or this person, and I'm just there for them." And I'm telling you right now, you ever want to know if your therapist is phoning it in? Ask them what you just said,
Hmm.
and they'll be like, "Well, wait, I was doodling my little guy over here." That we make commercials about that. We have newspaper articles about like from the comics. You see a therapist writing down, and they're like making little duels, and they're like,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be like this joke. That really does
Oh, it
happen.
really does.
Yeah, people get paid extraordinary amounts of money, and you want to know what it is. A lot of times, is that usually that therapist is burnt out. Generally, they have been burnt out for years. You
No one's
know,
checking on them. And I think it's so
yeah.
funny because we do this thing. I'm really big on whole person care, whole
Hmm.
picture, whole person. If you are not taking care of you, your basic biological needs,
Hmm.
how are you being present for someone else?
Yeah, and there's some kind of inner like helper in you. If you're saying I can't go to the bathroom, I can't get food, I can't get this, or I can't do this for my family member, and you're saying I can't do this because I'm being present for a client, there's some inner helper in you that is not really helping.
Hmm.
You're fixing,
Right,
and fixing is not good in the helping field. We're not fixers,
right,
we're helpers. And so a lot of helpers forget that, and they get in the fix it mode.
right. And so this goes all the way back, Kelly,
Hmm.
to fucking like daycare shit, preschool shit.
Hmm.
Are you a bucket filler or a bucket tuber?
Yeah.
How do you get from nip to cup?
Hmm.
And it's really dangerous as a helper to get in the fix it mode because what you're actually doing is you're stealing from your clients.
Yeah.
You're stealing their wins, you're stealing their losses,
Hmm.
and you're hurting yourself and you're hurting them in
Yeah.
the
You'll
long
see.
run.
You see therapists and be like, "Yeah, we did good." The hell?
I have a client all the time. She's like, "Oh my God, Melanie, you're the best, and you do so much, and I've gotten, I'm here, and I'm this and this, and it's all because of you." And I'm like, "No, this is all you, babe."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, but if it wasn't for you, no,
No.
it's all you." I said, "Listen, your win is not my win because your loss ain't my loss." Okay.
Yeah. There's an old story told in recovery. The story is told like 15 different ways, but more or less, it's pretty much the same. You've heard this story before. A lot of people have heard this story. Well, some people haven't actually, but you have the guy in the hole.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the guy's in the hole, and a guy walks by and he says, "Hey, can you help me?" The guy in the hole says, "Hey, can you help me?" He goes, the guy is a housing person. He's like, "No, but here's the housing application." And the guy keeps on walking, but he's still sitting in the hole. Next guy walks by, he says, "Hey, can you help me?" And it's a lawyer, and the lawyer says, "No, I can't help you." And he throws down a lawyer brief or whatever. And then the next person walks by is a counselor and says, "Hey, can you help me?" And the counselor's like, "No," and he throws down a writing pad or whatever. Next guy walks by, he goes, "Hey, can you help me?" And he goes, "No." He jumps down the hole with him, and he goes, "You idiot. Now we're both down here. How are we going to get out?" And he goes, "Because I've been here before. I'll help you." All right. And that's one of I remember when I first heard that story in recovery. I was like, "Aw."
I remember the very first time I heard that story, I was at the nightcap.
Okay.
I know I've heard that story so many times,
Yeah.
and but I love that story because that's what it is,
Hmm.
right? And when you're emotionally exhausted, especially as a helper, not to make this just about helpers, but just about anybody, I think people don't know how to ask for help
Hmm.
because, and this is where fucking shame comes in.
Hmm.
I should know how to get through this. And as a helper, you're like, I teach this.
Hmm.
I should know better. I said this to my husband the other day, and he was like, "Oh my God, that's so good." I was talking about some shit I wrote on my fourth step, and we were talking about shame, and I said, "Shame is a trap door, and I refuse to open it."
Hmm.
And he's like, "The fuck?" And I was like, "That's what it is. It's a trap door. It's self-imposed. It's self-feeding. Like once you fall into that, you're fucking stuck. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have. I could have. That's all fucking shame. You can't do nothing about it. Why are you carrying that?
Hmm.
And fucking shame is it's so fucking exhausting. And especially people in recovery that because there's so much shame. I'm a bad mom, Kelly.
Hmm.
I was a bad mom for a really long time. I fucking wasn't there for my kids. I didn't show up. I fucking abandoned them. I was fucking physically abusive at some points. Like I fucking stole from them. Emotionally, I was fucking not fucking present. Like, I was a bad fucking mom. And I say this to me, and they're like, but you're a good mom. You know, okay, but that doesn't make it up
Mm-hmm.
for when I was a bad mom. And it's one of those things that, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. I feel so guilty. And now I parent out guilt. I just give my kids whatever they want. I just want to make up for it. No,
Mm.
I don't do any of that. Why? What does it do?
Yeah, parenting out of guilt.
Those you're not making sacrifices. You're still self-medicating.
Mm-hmm.
You're engaged in a behavior you think is fucking helping, and it's hurting.
And you know something too is that they don't respect you.
No, they don't.
A kid who gets a yes for everything will not respect you. Point blank, right? But a kid who also gets a no for everything and a just because with no explanation will never ask questions.
Yeah.
And we want our kids to be curious.
I think one of the pivotal points for me where I really recognized that I didn't know how to parent my kids. I want to say my daughter Faith, she must have been like 14 or 15,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a year, 18 months, some change. And she had a little friend with her, and her grandfather was assaulted, like physically assaulted, rushed to the hospital. Her grandma was like, I need you to come like pick these girls up, do something. I said, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I'll come. And I came and grabbed them and I gave her money and I was like, I'm gonna take you to the mall. And she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what do you mean? This isn't funny. But looking back, it's like, what the fuck were you doing? And I was like, I'll take you shopping and you can get your mind out. And she was there, by the way. She witnessed the attack.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just this happened. No, she was like, she was there. She witnessed it. The police came. He left. It was a fucking traumatic experience.
And you thought money would help this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take you fucking shopping. I'll fucking distract you. I'll fucking do X, Y, and Z. And I even gave her and her friend money. And she's
Which
like,
is sibling, not parenting.
right. And if you look at our relationship, that's what it's been.
Yeah.
I don't know how to parent her.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been her fucking parent. I was her parent when she was little, but I wasn't a good parent.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to be your mom. And, you know, that's just the truth of the matter. We have a great relationship now. I mean, compared to where we've been.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm her mom. Yeah, but I'm her grandma is her mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um. So, and I just like that is one moment I can remember exactly where I was. I just turned on 38th off of McKinley. I was in that little fucking 98 fucking Volvo that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember clear as day, she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't want to go to the mall. I don't want to go shopping. My papa just got hit in the fucking head with blah, 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 blah. And she's like just going off. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Like, I thought this would be enough.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh shit.
It's a lot when you get presented with that kind of situation. You've never been presented with it. You're not normally around this person all the time, or your kid all the time, and that is really tough and hard to go through. I remember when I first realized I didn't know nothing about parenting. I first met my son when he was 3 years old, and I realized at 3 years old in one day, I had no clue what it meant to be a parent
Yeah.
and the amount of tiredness that comes with it, and like the amount of onness,
Right. And
how
so
on you are.
I want to point out that what I did was a learned behavior,
Mhm.
right? Because what I tried to do was I tried to self medicate her with money, shopping,
And fix it
right? To make her feel better.
because
Oh,
she
we
feels
can do
sad.
these.
She just can't
We,
feel second,
right.
can she?
We can do these
Yeah.
things. I couldn't just hold space. We're also talking this happened like, you know, oh my God, forever ago.
Before TikTok.
Before TikTok.
Can you imagine a time?
Oh my God. But yeah, and that was just it. I didn't know that you could just pull up a chair next to someone and say, I think,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want? What do you mean? I thought like, oh, you're fucking sad and went through something traumatic. Like we distract, self-medicate, feel better, get some dopamine in you, you know? Uh, and that really shifted something internally for me in that fucking moment. I don't think I've ever told her that, but I realized in that moment that I parented out of guilt. And I parented out of guilt for a little while longer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I would constantly catch myself misstepping and fucking up. But looking back, like that was a moment where I she parented me in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
She reparented me in that moment without trying. It was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's funny to look back now and kind of give a chuckle because she knew in that moment she just needed someone to hold space,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't do it.
Yeah. And you weren't emotionally available for that.
Fuck no, dude.
Yeah.
It's taken a long time to be emotionally available to her.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken a long time, because of her trauma, because of my trauma, because of my addiction, because of my inability to accept her reality, because of my wanting to defend my shame, my guilt. That's a big piece. And only now have we really gotten to a place where we can speak about the past and the things that have happened without causing emotional upheaval for either of us.
Mm-hmm. When we're talking about holding that space, a lot of people don't know, like holding space means however that person's feeling, you can hold it.
Right. You don't fix it. You don't try to repair it. You
Yeah.
just hold space.
And you're just there. One time I heard a guy talk about holding like a bucket in front of you like this. It's like, when you're holding the bucket and you're hearing someone talk, can you just imagine you're holding the bucket and imagine that's all you're going to do is just hold that bucket and listen, no matter what happens. You
Right.
don't need to do anything.
You're not relating to their stories.
Yeah.
You're not making it about yourself. You're not like, oh my God, I remember when my grandfather was assaulted and this is what.
Mm-hmm.
That's not holding space. Holding space is just, some ice cream. You want to talk about it. You want to watch TV. You just want me to sit with you. What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. If I had this conversation with my daughter today, and I said, if I knew then what I know now, I'd do things so differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I said, no offense when I say this. I said, but like, your first kids won't fuck up. Like, they get all your mistakes. They get all your fucking oopsies. They get all that shit. And you have to figure it out. And she even said, she goes, oh my God, I know. I'm not going to say the name of my grandchildren, but she was like, if having this second child now and knowing what I know now, I would have done things so much differently with my first child.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever in group therapy had clients ever sometimes I do this every once in a while where I'll be like, if your now self had to say one word to your past self at any age, what age would you pick and what word?
I immediately think 13 and wait.
Interesting.
That's just an immediate thing. Don't know why I would do that.
Mm.
I think 13 was I know for a fact 13 was a big turning point for me. I don't know if at 13 I would have listened to me.
Yeah.
I was like, that bitch would want fucking drugs.
Mine's always been, it's changed over the years, but mine right now would probably be 15 and love or connection. One or the other. It's a good exercise because it kind of makes you really think, what do you have stock in? What's important? What's been important? It's a technique for looking into someone's past. And so especially and that's really good in a group therapy because when someone's early in recovery, this is a really good activity for them to be like, usually they connect it back to use, like their first time using, sometimes, not always, or their first trauma event. That's usually what I've seen happen. I had someone ask me, can I use 2 words or no, 3 words? And I was like, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Use 3 words. And they were like 6 years old, not my fault.
That was abuse.
that was my whole heart just shake. I was like, oh my God, that was the most meaningful thing I've ever heard. She was just like, oh man, it was amazing. That moments in therapy we get,
Yeah. I think I'm going to do that for one of my groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. See, right? You listen to this, you get some group therapy ideas for free. Yeah, because I've done a lot. I've done a lot of group therapy ideas. You ever heard of did I ever talk about the I Quit song? Oh yeah, I mean, I should show you that. There's a thing I do, and I split up the groups, and they have to make it like the song, and they gotta do poems and stuff, and it's all about quitting, but it's like empowerment quit, not like I quit drugs like dare, but it's like empowerment, like quitting, and so that one's really interesting. But
at that one mom and pop shop that I used to work at, we did that during the holidays when we had our first group of men and women, even though they were separate facilities. We got them together for the holiday, and they did like some version of like the 12 steps. And I remember the guys did this whole on the first day of recovery.
Oh yeah, okay,
You know?
yeah.
And I still fucking have that because it was my first group there, my first group of guys, and they signed it and they gave it to me, and I have it somewhere. So I kept it all these fucking years.
I love that. Yeah, that's one thing I love about working inpatient.
Ah!
You get so much closer to your people because you see them all day.
Dude, I know. It's like you live with them for 30 fucking really intense therapeutic days, and then they go off anymore.
Yeah. Then they come back in like 30 days. And I'm like, there we go. Not always, just sometimes.
Yeah, I think working inpatient sometimes is a lot more emotionally exhausting. I know that there were a lot more times where we did intense work there. And that's kind of what we were known for, was intense trauma therapy. And I remember this one session very clear as day, that like when the session was, I remember sitting on the floor and like involuntarily like tears coming out of my eyes. And I wasn't even like in the session with my client. It was just, that's how intense the moment got. And I remember afterwards, they tried to clean up the mess, and I was like, that's not a mess to clean. Get out of my office, you know. And I just remember I like had to walk out. I had to sage my office, like put a little sage spray. And I remember like I had to go into my supervisor's office, and I was like, I need 15 minutes just to hold space for myself, because that's fucking lot. I think I want to hold that day to fucking nap.
Yeah.
That's how fucking intense that session was.
Yeah. The buildup of emotions that happen while an inpatient, that happened a lot, and then we'd have to calm them down. I think one of the saddest things I would always see, it was the sad happy, but it's when we would have people come back several times. I remember we've had one guy that would just come back and he knew the staff, he knew the cook, he knew me. It was like he'd show up in treatment and be like, oh, what's up, man? Oh, what's up, man? And it's all like, oh, how's life going? You know, and he'd be like, hey, Kelly, how's the kids and everything? Oh, you know, they're going okay. He knows I have kids.
Yeah, I remember we also had a client like that, and it came to a point where I think on their 4th or 5th trip to us, we collectively as a team sat down and we were like, we can't do this. We've become that person's soft place.
We've become home.
We've become a soft place for them to land.
Yeah.
We're part of their pattern. And
their trauma, actually.
They have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I do believe they went to somewhere where you worked. And I think they're so clean. And it's not anything that we didn't do. It was that we broke a pattern for them.
You know, and other people who've been to treatment before, they get that really good trauma therapy, and then they come and do like another stint of therapy sometimes. All that trauma therapy that they did in the past does not go away. You know, they still, all that work they did is still valuable, you know, and they still get to use it.
I get so excited when I have a client who wants to do like trauma therapy. And I've gotten so close with some of them, and then it's like I give them the work, and they just like, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, okay, so you give up on you before you even tried.
And that happens, and you know, there's a lot. Yeah, and you know something, me and you, we listen to man, I always forget her name, but the one lady who said,
oh yeah, the dark haired lady.
We need to get her to know her name, man. She's actually famous. She has a lot of likes.
One day we're gonna say her name. We're like, oh my god, you can remember her name.
Yeah, but she's always like, you need to go outside and touch some goddamn grass.
I literally said that before we started recording. Yeah,
I know.
Everybody needs to go touch some fucking goddamn grass.
Yeah, and when you're doing therapy and you get this like session of work and you just don't end up doing it, a lot of times you're not doing it because it's not because you're not good at it or because you don't think, you know, every time I gave a therapy assignment to somebody, and sometimes it was really big things, sometimes it was really small. And I remember I had someone like do life story or something like that, and they did all this work on it. It looked really beautiful. I was like, man, I was like, man, you can write above about this. Man, this looks great, you know, from what I can see on the top layer and everything. Like, so when are you gonna get done reading it, Kelly? Oh, I'm not gonna read it. Well, I need to read it. What's this for? Why would I read it? And they were like, well, because you had me do it. And I was like, so I want to make sure we're clear. Are you doing this for you, or did you do this for me? Is this all impressiveness because you want to look good in front of your counselor, or was this all because you wanted to do the work? And he was just like, he didn't know what to say. He was like, and I was just like, hey, I'm not saying either answer is bad. Either answer gets you to a point where you get to learn a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah.
So it's something you should think about.
I loved giving assignments, especially when I worked in inpatient, because you give them kind of with these vague instructions
Yeah.
in the materials. And it was, I mean, I have some of the stuff my clients did, and it wasn't because they gave it to me for me. It was like they did the work and then they processed it, and they're like, I don't need that anymore. You can have it. I'm gonna throw it away. I'm gonna lie down. I'm like, and some of it was about I just did this to impress you.
Yeah. I point that out when it was done. I was like, man, it's super impressive. It's really nice. It's the best ever. I was like, is this stuff you're like hearing right now? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you've liked this your whole life. Yeah. And so I like really giving vague instructions too. Like I think one assignment I had is what's the most important word in your life? Yeah. Yeah, right. And I had some people that,
So expressive.
yeah, and they would write words down and I'd be like, so where does it come from? And I get to ask more questions and stuff. And it was just really interesting the words that people would pick, and yeah. And some people would always ask, it's really funny when people are like, well, Kelly, what word would you pick and stuff? And I'd always have a word ready probably or somewhat, but man,
I just really feel for those people who like they're always on. That's exhausting.
it is. Yeah.
I think like how lonely and exhausting. Anyways, I think we're drawing to an end.
Yep, I do so
I think it's
too.
getting late. So the question to take away here is really what does emotional exhaustion feel like in your body? Right? And what helps you recognize it before you hit that wall? Because the most important piece here is it doesn't come in a calamity. It comes very gradually, very cumulative. It's the little things. And I know for me, it's when I get off my routine. That's how I'm not as regulated emotionally where I want to be. Like, why would I take my fucking vitamins every fucking day for fucking 6 months, and then all of a sudden I forget to take my vitamins, forget to wash my face? I do that right when I wake up. Forget to brush my teeth, forget to make the bed. It's because I'm fucking so exhausted that I can't put my thoughts together. So I really just want to challenge people to like recognize what does that look like in me and how can I take better care?
I'm with you.
That's what
Yeah. I always feel it in my shoulders when I'm exhausted.
right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think my employees sometimes can see it on me whenever I feel exhausted. I'm always like this. I'm like, okay, let me take care.
That's really important. If other people notice it and you keep hearing it, it's important to take stock in that. I think not enough people do that.
You mean when everybody comes to you and says, hey, when's the last time you took PTO? And you're all like, I don't need to take PTO. Whoa, I didn't even say you should take PTO.
I'm taking tomorrow off.
Yeah, me too.
I was pretty much going to take today off. And then, like, all I had was supervision. And then they were like, oh, hey, can you do this one-on-one? And then I had to write a letter. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, hey, you want to cover for me tomorrow? And she was like, yeah, any reason? And I was like, I just want to take the day off.
Yeah. Well, you want to sign us off?
I said, this is a space for messiness, for progression, and sometimes just showing up when you don't want to. We invite you into this space. If you have any thoughts or ideas or would like to come and talk with us, message us at piecesinprogress@gmail.com or any of the socials. Also, really quickly, I want to announce our spotlight stories. We're going to have affected others come on, people who've been firsthand affected by addiction without firsthand use of substances, which is a piece that really doesn't get talked about enough. As well as a couple spotlight stories of addicts in recovery and their stories. And so stay tuned because those will be coming soon.
Well, that's a piece of progress. We're signing off.